Is this working? Do you guys see me? Alrighty. I don't know what it is about this. Something about doing a live stream is so nerve-wracking. I'm gonna try. So one way or another, we're gonna do this. Average Ontarian, much better quality, clean audio. Thank you. Ridiculous. You know what the frustration is? If you knew like the how much time and energy I put into doing this live stream, and to end up just doing it on my phone, whatever. Who cares? Am I blurry or is it just me? That's alright. It's all good now. Hello from Ireland. Ryan, what's up, buddy? Ireland. Where in Ireland are you, Ryan? And Tom Ryan, my other Irish buddy. Thank you, Nathan. Bond Armory, no blur, a bit bright. Yeah, okay. Can you back this up? Any better? Tom Ryan, greetings from Tipperary, Belfast, Northern. Alrighty. I've never been to Northern Ireland. I've been to Ireland twice. Just paused. You only live twice at Little Nelly. Thank you, Nathan. Oh, Christmas. Bond Experience, what's up? Yeah, eventually we get there. Come back for a pint. Oh my goodness. My friend, we are going to have many pints. It's a long road to Tipperary, my friend, but I will definitely be there for a couple pints. In fact, I was actually trying to get I've been there twice with my brother both times, and cousins and stuff. My brother was trying to get a trip back to Ireland this year, and he couldn't get. Now that all my brothers and cousins, they have kids, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. But we were talking about it, and my girlfriend Mary, she was dying to do it again. Well, I should say, I've been there twice. She's never been, so she was dying to go. So she's kind of got my feet to the fire that we're going to do this. So guys, I apologize for the technical glitches. I think this laptop has seen better days. I think it's time to retire it and try something new. This thing has been through hell and back. So what's happening? Keep me posted on your plans. Tom, you'll be the first to know, buddy. Seriously, you'll know. Believe me. So, Tim Hands, yeah, what's up? Did Alexa shut up? Alexa, turn on the air conditioner. my little smart home, kinda, sorta. Is this better? Not quite as bright. Matthew, what's up? I was just sort of talking about you today. Matthew of the James Bond Complex. Jeff Connor, what's up? Are you guys hearing the air conditioner? Is that too loud? Christopher Matola, long-time listener, first-time commenter. Welcome, my friend. Thank you. Brian, we're good now. Thank you. Awesome. It's fine. Jeff Connor, you sound great. Positive. definitely positive, Matthew. Believe me. All right. So we finally got some people now. Try as I may to ruin this live stream, it's still happening. Thank you, guys. Dean Leaving, what's up, buddy? Kyle, what's up? So, I'll be honest with you. I didn't really have any sort of an itinerary tonight. Hey, look, it's 8:24, and I'm finally getting my 8 o'clock thing going. And I had graphics counting down 1 hour, half an hour. I don't know if you guys saw it. If you got it early enough. How's the Bond 25 Fitness Challenge going? Looks like you dropped a few. I drop them and then I find them again. But that's happening. That is happening. In fact, I'm working on a video now to kind of, how do I say it? I wouldn't say it's like a before and after. Well, maybe kind of. But a definitely kick off, and I'm hoping it will lead to, down the road. Alan Hilburn, welcome back, my friend. Thank you. Tim Hands, let's start talking Bond. We need to send pictures of our lunches again. We absolutely do. I need to start taking my lunch with me. Lloyd, what's up? I was working yesterday. I went up to a Greek restaurant right up the street. I went and got a salad with some grilled chicken on it. It was $20. What's everyone drinking tonight? Ryan Baker, what's up? Tom Ryan. The fitness challenge is killing me. Would love to see more videos on how to maintain the regime. Yeah. Well, talk to David Risky about that. Bridget Miller, what are your thoughts? Yeah, let's start with the questions. Let's talk about Genome of a Woman and Bridget Miller. So, looking good, Joe. See, you lost weight since May. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Matthew. I met up with Matthew back in May. It was cool. It was being James Bond meets the James Bond complex. It was awesome. Gin Martini sounds good. All right, Bond 25, Genome of a Woman. First of all, well, let me do Bridget Miller first. Let's talk about Bridget Miller first. Bridget Miller, put it this way. Now that I've sort of signed on to the idea that Bond 25 will in fact be... Where did my phone go? Oh, I'm looking at it. Stupid. So, Bridget Miller, I think it's Millar. Okay, so I've pretty much resigned to the idea that this is going to be a sequel to Spectre, kind of. Again, Casino Royale was awesome. They did a sequel to that in Quantum. Doesn't work as well. They do Skyfall. Skyfall's really good. They do a sequel to Skyfall, Spectre. Doesn't work so good. So I was pretty sure that they were going to just sort of give that up and just say, look, we're just doing a standalone, a standalone Bond adventure. They've decided to stay with this little arc. So by now I'm kind of indifferent to the whole thing. I've resigned to the fact that they're going to do that. So the fact that Triple J, thank you, hit that like button. Yeah, thank you. I can use that. Could Bond 25 retroactively improve Spectre? Yes, they could. It could. I've seen films that have done that. The last two Creed movies, by the way, I think those really do, in a way, kind of improve upon what came before and actually elevate the ones prior. So, yes, I think it could. So, with Bridget Millar coming back, she had a small role in Spectre, which I believe was supposed to be a little bit bigger. She was supposed to, if I recall, she was a little more of a Rosa Klebb, not a Rosa Klebb type, but a Fräulein Bunt. She was a little more like that. Lashana Lynch, so somebody had to do it. Dave Zarisky, of course I can count on you. So, She actually was supposed to have a bigger role in Spectre, I believe, kind of a more of a Irma Bunt type character. Uh, it was scaled down. So the fact that they're going to bring her back in tells me they're going to sort of stick with that, maybe amp it up a little bit. Yeah, such a stinker. Um, Kyle, I know I'm in the minority, but I actually like Spectre more than Skyfall. Yeah, yeah. I've heard people say that. Skyfall, I think Skyfall is the better film, but yes, it's very derivative, and yes, if you're going to judge it by the villain's plot, doesn't exactly hold water. Um, so anyway, so the fact that she's back in this, I think, is pretty cool. Genome of a Woman. I'll just say this. Anybody really want to take a bet that that's not the title? That's not the title. Um, it's an awful title, and I know the sources are good. I think James Bond Brazil was the first one to sort of break that story, and they're always very James Bond Brazil is excellent, and you know their sources are good, but even if that literally, it's not that I'm doubting that may have been the case at one point, but even if that were the case. Even if it came directly from Michael Wilson's mouth, if that was ever the case, no. Any chance the cat is alive? That's a great. Look what you did to Mr. Bigglesworth. Tom Ryan, no way. Yeah, no way. Yeah, Genome of a Woman. It's so bafflingly bad. They've done bafflingly bad things in the past, but. You know. So, a genome to a kill, yes. A view to a genome. The man with the golden genome. That Rachel Weisz was also involved in some creative decisions. Quantum of Genome, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I don't. Just can't see it. Rachel Weisz involved in some creative decisions. Can't be true. Well, I mean, nothing says it can't be true. I mean, again, Daniel Craig has wild control and influence over these films. So, if he tried to sort of muscle her in and say, I want her in these meetings too, I wouldn't put it past anybody, frankly. Is anyone set to do the Bond 25 soundtrack? I heard, yes. I heard that somebody not David Arnold is doing the soundtrack. Somebody who I think has done things with Fukunaga before. Dan Romer, is that it? So, yeah, I don't think... I don't know him. I don't know his work. I'm very disappointed David Arnold is not coming back. He's a video game composer. That's interesting. So, yeah, it's a little frustrating. I really wish David Arnold was coming back. I've heard people say that maybe it's not so bad that David Arnold is not coming back. Maybe he's past his prime, and maybe they want somebody a little more current. I don't buy that. I think David Arnold, again, the guy has never shown weakness. He's never shown, I mean, you know, a pitcher in the 7th, 8th inning, you can see him starting to throw a lot of balls. As far as I'm concerned, David Arnold has never thrown a ball. You know, he's a striker every time. So I'm disappointed he's not coming back. Right? Is John Williams past his prime? I don't think so. David Arnold? No way. I almost feel like that's kind of I'm almost taking that a little personally. That David Arnold is not coming back. I don't know. I find that to be frustrating. He's really good. Yankees ahead of Toronto, 8-0. Thanks, Robert. Speaking of strikes and balls. Remember when Dine of the Day was supposed to be Beneath the Ice? Genome of a Woman belongs in the same pile of discarded bad ideas. Matthew? Yes. Very true. Very true. You know, there was a song that somebody did, a proposed title song called Beyond the Ice. Maybe somebody's out there right now putting together a song called "Genome of a Woman." Thomas Newman was so bland. I thought he was, he was really good in Skyfall, and then Spectre. Really, you gonna reuse the same old tracks? Ugh. Oh, awful. Joe did a great video on the rejected title tracks. I love that. Thank you, Bon Armour. Yes. Oddly good. Oddly good. I hope they get a few more than just the rumored Ed Sheeran. I got a comment on that video just today. Somebody said I had terrible taste in music. Or could who knows? If music is not subjective, nothing is. Danny Elfman, Bond 25 music director. Yeah, great. Dan Romer's score for Far Cry 5. I'm gonna guess that's a video game, Brandon. Puts me completely at ease. It'll be a great score. Okay, alright. Interesting. What if Walt's Blofeld is just a decoy? You know what? If they didn't write that stupid crap about the brother in, you could have made the argument, but I kind of feel like, how could they do that now? Wouldn't make a lot of sense, because again, we had to go through that whole nonsense with how this was James Bond's brother. So, I mean, and again, I've made the argument that that line of thinking in Spectre is categorically the worst decision, I think. I really do think this. I think the I'll be shocked if Craig is not back for Bond 26. Fine. Yeah, maybe. So excited to see if Craig is back in the tropics. Excited to see Craig back in the tropics. I agree with that. Not to mention the Blofeld angle in Bond 25. Let's hope they don't mention the Brofeld angle. Yeah. Worst decision ever. Brofeld is so stupid. Here's why I think it's literally the worst decision they've ever made in a Bond film. Ever. The idea that James Bond's brother, from when they were this tall, his brother decided, I hate my brother, so I'm going to kill my father, become the world's biggest terrorist, cause all kinds of terrorism, and I'm going to follow my brother around, the secret agent, who's supposed to be secret. I'll be one step ahead of him every time, cause chaos and stuff in his life, kill the people he loves, cause all this destruction, all because I hate him. That has to make James Bond the worst spy in history. In history. His own brother. Someone he knew. Jeff Weibo, what's up? Jane Seymour. I'd love to see Jane Seymour make an appearance. James Bond's own foster brother is causing all these things. He has no idea. He's killing off his loved ones, all this sort of stuff. James Bond has no idea. It's not until the guy walks in and tells him, I'm the one who's doing all this, that he finally knows. He had no idea. So James Bond has become the dumbest, stupidest agent ever. And by the way, there are now things happening in the world, bad things happening in the world, only because James Bond became a secret agent. Because if he didn't, if he became a circus performer, Blofeld would have got into the, like, if James Bond was a trapeze artist, Christoph Waltz's character would have become a net maker and cut all the nets. Or cut all the trapezes. He would have gotten into some industry to ruin James Bond's life, other than being a terrorist. So basically, James Bond is ruining the world by being a secret agent. That's why the whole Brofeld thing is awful. Just awful. Trapeze of a woman. Eon should need, yes, Wilfred Piccarelli. Eon does need a Kevin Feige to map out a storyline that makes sense for a couple of films. In other words, have a plan. Shockingly stupid that they would not do that. Um, you know, just the fact alone, by the way, that Star Wars. When I saw, I had a very similar feeling when I saw the new Star Wars movies. That's a bit of a political statement. I never thought of it. Underlying belief: evil only exists to combat good. Well, in this case, um, the plan is to crowdsource a plan. Suggestions. I mean, when I saw the not the Last Jedi, but the first one, The Force Awakens, which was essentially nothing more than a punt, a Hail Mary. They, Nathan Mesker, Last Jedi was hot garbage. Yes. The Force Awakens was a punt. It was nothing more than a punt. They just decided, we don't know what to do, but let's make some characters people like, bring in some familiar characters, redo Star Wars, because everybody likes that. Okay, we'll do a Death Star again, and, there'll be a new Empire, even though we got rid of them in Return of the Jedi. The Rebellion is now the Resistance again. Don't know why that is. So, Kevin Firth, how's your golf game? Well, funny you should ask. It's kind of non-existent right now. I haven't played in a long time, and I've been thinking I really need to start playing again. I want to play again. So anyway, they do The Force Awakens. Star Wars rant. They do The Force Awakens. It's nothing more than a punt. We don't know what we're going to do now, but we're going to just do this movie now, and we'll see where it goes. Then you see The Last Jedi, which was hot garbage. So, but when you watch The Last Jedi, not only did they not answer all the big questions from The Force Awakens, which it was totally setting us up for, it pissed all over the stuff that they did in the last one. So, it was very clear that there was no plan. And it's like, you paid billions of dollars for this franchise. You had the hottest franchise in history. And you couldn't stop for 5 minutes to plan out the next 3 movies. At least a ballpark outline. Star Wars, The Genome Awakens. So again, if they can't be bothered to make an outline for a couple Star Wars movies, then well, what's the hope that James Bond, people who don't feel like, Kyle, it subverts expectations, thank you. Yeah, so you would think James Bond, this is what I've never understood too, like even back at Quantum of Solace, they stopped dead because they had a writer's strike. I'm saying to myself, this is a hundreds of millions, billion-dollar franchise. If I was them, I'd hire writers to be working round the clock. I'd hire 10 writers and pay them well and say the best script wins. Why would you be stuck at the last second without a script? I find that so baffling. Because all the decent writers are working for Marvel. There you go. Yeah, I find that really baffling. I cannot figure out why they don't have like multiple fantastic scripts. Like they should have a pile of on the desk of scripts this high. Any one of them you can pick up, somebody should read, and they just go, "This is amazing." Like they should have phenomenal scripts lying around. I don't get that. Thoughts on Craig being the longest tenured Bond with the least films? Well, that will technically be untrue, Lane, soon, because when he has 5, he won't. Well, first of all, I know what you're getting at. I know what you're trying to say. He's the longest running, but that does not relate to the amount of Bond films. Roger Moore holds the record with 7, but he was Bond from 71 to 85. That's 14 years, right? And thanks to these ridiculously long delays in between, Craig is going to be the longest running Bond actor, yet still only have done 5 films. Well, my thoughts on it sucks. And it's funny too because I feel like 73 to 85. That's right. Well, for thank you, 12 years. Not even. It's kind of bizarre, frankly. I think the only reason Craig came back to do this one, frankly, I think if Spectre was a home run, he might have said, okay, now I'm done. I'm finished. The fact that it was lame, that everybody kind of knew it was lame, I think he came back and said, look, I can't go out on a, like, literally, one good one, one stinker, one good one, one stinker. I don't know. I think he probably said to himself, I can't leave on this note. My whole tenure, all this work to be totally lukewarm. You think Craig is coming back for Bond 26? Craig came back for the money. Well, yeah, I mean, just saying, I love, gotta stay, but get ready for work. Thank you. GNB24. Stop hiring Purvis and Wade. Yeah. Purvis and Wade. Boy, you know, you guys know Paul Scrabo? He does, he's very big in the Bond community. In fact, if you watch some of those old documentaries that they did for the first round of DVDs, you'll see his name on several of the documentaries as a consultant. He's got a little Bond channel called Bond Memories, and a very early one, and he did a review of Quantum, and he said the same thing. He goes, I don't know who Purvis and Wade has naked pictures of, but how these guys are still working, I just don't get it. Mediocre is a great way to say it, because they know how to do. And I've always said these are guys that were raised on 80s action movies because they have that feel. When Barbara produced Othello with Daniel Craig, I knew he was coming back. That's a great point, Ed. And again, he knows which side of the bread his butter's on. Do you think they'll get Bond 26 out in 2022? No, definitely not. With or without Craig. Unless Bond 25 comes out and the next day they say we're selling this franchise to Disney, then maybe. Otherwise, nope, definitely not. No one leaves on a high note except for George Lazenby. Very true. If we're lucky, we'll get a Bond 26 in 2025. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. They'll probably delay Bond 25 till 2022. Michael G. Wilson is too long in the tooth now. Time he retired. Yeah, I agree. Listen, and it's not even. It's not. You know, it's funny. It's not even a slight, but I sort of wonder sometimes why Barbara and Michael are still hell bent on doing Bond films, because, I mean, honestly, they don't show any passion for it. Michael Wilson frequently says, like many films ago now, that, you know, doing these films are so tiring. Barbara Broccoli, she's obviously more passionate about other projects. If you go to the Eon website, James Bond isn't even like the biggest thing on the website. They keep showing these other films they've done. I've never seen any of them, by the way. I can't remember like what the names of those films are. I used to think Disney was a good idea, but not after what they did to Star Wars. Well, you know what that showed me, Alan, is that, you know, I always assumed that Disney had like such control over their properties that they wouldn't let anything out the door that was not perfect. And when I say perfect, I mean there are tried and true scripts, there are tried and true stories. You know, I always felt that Disney kind of knew exactly the right kind. Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool, thank you. It was actually quite good. Alright, I might even check it out. Do I think Nomi will be a mole? No, definitely not. Definitely not. Because she's I mean, that's something I get into too, but, I forgot where I was going. But, do you like haphazard stuff? Big time, Kevin Firth. I really do. And he really pulls no punches. You know, that channel's been around for a long time, too, by the way. Haphazard was one of the early YouTubers. And you know, it's really been pretty. He's always been consistently good. His opinions are so good, and honestly, I share so many of them. They're great. So yeah, and the stuff he's been doing lately with the countdown to 25 is really funny. He doesn't pull punches at all. I think he was the one after the big announcement. He said something like, you know, the Bond 25 announcement that he did in Jamaica. He said something like the only thing that was missing was Ian Fleming's house on fire in the background. It's just great. So, but Disney's more concerned with pleasing SJWs. Well, you know, Disney has always been a progressive company, so that's not surprising necessarily, but yeah, that does seem to be pretty accurate, doesn't it? That I'm trying to think if there's anything that would, like, I'm trying to think of what the counter argument to that might be, but I can't think of any, frankly. And yeah, James Bond could be going down that road. Greg Wilson. Bill Koenig, what's up, buddy? Good luck with the live stream. Thank you. Bill Koenig, James Bond and Friends. One of the best new James Bond podcasts to come out in a long time. Spectacular stuff. That is why they are not... Well, Disney, you know, seriously, if somebody told me 10 years ago about Disney taking over James Bond, I'd be like, what are you, stoned? James Bond is all about smoking, drinking, womanizing, and killing. Now, not quite as much. I think, and again, I think that, again, what I was starting it up before was, I used to think that Disney was sort of like this stamp of quality, you know, that anything they put out. I mean, even back when they were strictly doing cartoons, like when Beauty and the Beast came out as a cartoon, not this shitty remake, you'd watch that and you'd say, boy, these people know exactly what they're doing. They know how to tell stories. And again, even if it's not my story, even if it's not the kind of thing I want to see, I mean, but they know how to please the masses. But then you see some things like Star Wars, and you're like, what are you thinking? Like, this is barely even a story. There we go. Bill Koenig, again, the source for news. If you guys don't know, Bill Koenig, the Spy Command, sign up for his newsletter. Because, again, every time news comes out, he sends out an email newsletter, and it's always spot on, and that's kind of my Bond news, frankly. For what it's worth, MGM said on Tuesday that Bond 25 is on schedule, but this was also a day before the Annapurna report surfaced. Oh my God, hello. Yeah, that's a big thing. Annapurna has said, well, it's reported that they could be going into bankruptcy. I don't know how that affects Bond 25, so I'm not sure. I think I have a special guest. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good. Hello, Mary, my special guest.
Hi, everybody.
We were talking about Bond 25. And we're talking about how one of the distributors for Bond 25 could be going into bankruptcy. We don't know how that affects James Bond. Alan Hilbert says, "Hi, Mary."
Hi, Alan.
Bond Army says, "Are you ready for the range, Mary?"
I am. I'm ready.
We are going to hit the range, the gun range, with the Bond Armory on Saturday, and Mary is going to kick my ass and show me how it's done.
I'll try, but
Hey, here's what's that game, like 2 true things and 1 false thing or something or other? Well, here we go. One of us has owned a Walther PPK. Which one of us? Not me. Dorothy says hi, Mary. Hey, Dorothy.
Hi, Dorothy.
Liquid George, Tim Hands, Chris Robinson. What's up? Lloyd Nance. Everybody says hi, Mary. Kevin Firth. Hi, Mary.
Hi, everybody. Boy, there's so many people out there.
I know, it's going.
Oh,
I had to do it on my phone because I had so much trouble getting this thing working. I think my laptop is taking a dump.
Okay.
I think I need a new one. Check this
So
out.
what did I miss?
Not much. Well, you missed the whole chaos of me trying to get things ready. But other than that, Nathan Metzner, my girlfriend has a PPK and I don't. I feel your pain.
Hi, Dave.
What does she think of your passion about Bond?
Well,
You can be honest too, by the way. If you want to call me a dork, you can.
I think it's okay. I think it's really great, and it gives me a lot of time to hold the remote at night while he's busy bonding.
This is true. This is true. The Bond experience. This live stream just improved.
Hey.
My ratings skyrocketed when Mary shows up. Hi. So we're going. By the way, did you see my shirt?
I did. Very nice.
You know what
Very
it is?
handsome. Yeah, it's the one we got in London.
Yep.
Hey, I know. It's
Mary
from
picked it up.
Sunspell. I
Yep.
did.
So we are going down to Maryland to see. Seriously, how if you're gonna go shooting, go with the Bond Armory, and that's how you do it. And we're gonna go down and shoot some guns, like Americans. We're gonna shoot some guns. What's Mary's favorite Bond film?
Oh, Casino.
Casino.
Yeah.
She's a keeper, head of section. Thank you, Roy. She sure is. Hello from Greenville, South Carolina. A rather charming couple. Thank you, Brandon. Leaving for DC. Hit you up soon. Chris Robinson. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Sweet.
So I like David Zersky's spouse's response to that question. So your favorite is Casino Royale.
Yes.
Who's your favorite James Bond?
Daniel. Yeah, he's been my favorite. And then Sean.
And then Sean.
Yeah.
Did you like Spectre?
Well, at the beginning I did, at the end I didn't.
What's the first James Bond movie that you ever watched?
Ooh. Well, it depends. On TV or at the movies?
Both.
On TV, oh, gosh, I don't even remember. It was a long time ago. And the first one in the movies was one of the Pierce Brosnan, but I don't remember which. It was
Okay.
the 80s. I don't remember much of the 80s.
Pierce Brosnan came around in 95.
90s, okay, but
Yeah,
I was busy.
1995. She called it the 80s. Mary saw the 80s through what?
Don't even go there. I think that was the first one I saw in the movies, though.
We're gonna have back-to-back Bond weekends. This is very true. Very true. We're gonna be spoiled. We got Zersky the weekend after that.
I know.
Tim Hans, great choice. Mary Casino Royale is my favorite too. Her second favorite is Diamonds Are Forever. Is that true?
No.
What are your thoughts on a female 007? Tom Ryan asks.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, I don't want a female. It just changes everything up. It really does.
What if she's James Bond, or what if she's 007 just for a little while? Yes, no?
Is she gonna die?
I don't know. At this point, we don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Bond experience. Alexa, you're gonna. I kept talking to Alexa when I was trying to get this thing rolling. Who should be the next James Bond? Nathan Marple asks. Anybody that you see on TV now that you think would...
Not really. Not
No?
really. I don't have a choice right now. You know, I listen to other people who they think should be Bond, and I have to sometimes look up the person. I don't know who it is.
Kyle says me.
Who should be the next Bond girl?
Next Bond girl?
Yeah.
I have no idea, to tell you the truth. I don't really, I mean, there's not a lot of shows or anything that I'm watching that I say, ooh, she should be, or can't think of anything. I kind of like it when there's surprises anyway. Guess I gotta plug my phone in. I kind of like it when they're unknowns. You know, like Ava Green was unknown, and I think all of them since for me were unknowns anyway.
Oh, she's the most beautiful.
Yes. Sorry for the view. I gotta plug something in. Don't assume the next Bond girl's gender.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, gotcha. Let's see. Danielle must. Oh. Dan Stevens should be the next 007.
Who's Dan Stevens?
no idea. Henry Cavill and Christopher Nolan trilogy. Now that's interesting. Christopher Nolan should be the director. Henry Cavill could play James Bond.
Oh, I like him.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I think Henry Cavill's got potential. I know he's very wooden in a lot of things, but I think he's wooden more when he plays an American.
Who's Aiden Turner?
Aiden Turner. I forget. I should know that.
You should.
Dorothy says Mary should be the next Bond girl. Yes, Alan. I totally agree with that.
That's funny.
Nathan Marble, Bond women, sir. Yeah, you know, I don't know if that was true, by the way. They said something in the last, one of the rumors of the, I can't remember if this was legit or not, but something about how, oh, we're going to call them Bond women from now on, not Bond girls. Which even then is like, even Bond women doesn't please everybody.
You can't please everybody, so stop trying.
Aiden Turner is Irish. We need another Irish Bond. I agree with that. Tom Ryan. Tom Ryan lives in Ireland, so when we go, we're going to have to go hang out with him.
Okay.
He's a very good guy.
Bond's not a complex character.
Bond is not a complex character. Blofeld is leaking false rumors. Very true. I want a period Bond for 26. Now that to me has always been interesting. I've actually always said I would love to see, and this is not a perfect idea because some of the books are kind of hit and miss, but I've always said I would love to see if they went back and did the original books, like his period films, and did them like in the 60s, and kind of had that Mad Men or Catch Me If You Can feel to it. But again, the books are sort of hit and miss, and it's weird because some of the books are very authentically translated into films, some are not. Are you cold? Alexa, turn off the air conditioner.
Would you ever pay to see a movie crossover between James Bond and Indiana Jones?
I would see it. I don't know if I would. I'd probably be preparing myself for a car crash, but I'd see it.
Total critic.
Yeah, Mary knows I'm too much of a movie critic. Anything you would like to see Craig do as Bond before he hangs it up? Well, golf, skiing, a little more behind the card table, scuba diving. I mean, I kind of feel like there's a lot of classic Bond stuff that Craig could have done, but they're so kind of they're so hell bent on just keeping him focused on the missions and not having any downtime.
You think he'll die in this one?
Craig? No, I don't think so. They wouldn't kill him off. You can't see it. Bond Royal Navy Bond prequel would be optimal. Now that's interesting.
Craig needs to wear the naval uniform. That's interesting too.
Craig in the naval uniform. I don't know if they're even sticking with that with these films though. They sort of implied that he was SAS. Wait, am I saying it wrong? So I don't even know if he's supposed to be in the Royal Navy in these films. Alan says, based on statements Henry Cavill made following Mission Impossible, I think he has the real desire to play Bond and would really run with it. I could see that. I could totally see that. And honestly, you know, Henry Cavill is sort of like one of these guys who's like oddly good looking, like just way too good looking. Is that kind of guy that said that?
It is kind of It's okay.
But I almost feel like he would, like, because he's so oddly handsome, I almost feel like it would let them do lighter films. Like, instead of kind of doing Craig with, like, the broody, mean,
Weathered,
upset all the time Bond. You could just sort of let Henry Cavill just be good looking and have fun being James Bond. So, just my thoughts. The period I want Bond to go back to is the 80s. I love all the John. There you go. I love all the John Glenn films. You know. Wasn't it nice to have a period when they just made James Bond movies? You just went to see the new James Bond movie. It was fun. They had a good story. They came out very regularly every 2 years. And now it's just like, more drama, one drama after another, to get these things to actually just exist and have to cure every social injustice in the world. Maybe Craig wants to have a 20-year run as Bond if he comes back for Bond. Yeah, he'll wait another 10 years and say, look, I'm the longest running Bond. I wouldn't mind seeing a prequel, something along the lines of how Kingsman franchise is going back to how the organization was formed. But Bond going from service to 007. You know what other franchise is doing this, and I haven't watched it yet? It's technically a Batman prequel, but they're doing something called Pennyworth, which is Alfred, and it's literally something about him kind of going from World War II into sort of a spy genre. I gotta check it out, and it's the premise is interesting. I've heard decent things about it. Here's a crazy idea. James Bond animated shorts from different animations. Oh, there you go.
You would love that.
Different animations. I really would.
Yeah, I know
actually.
you would.
You know what that reminds me of? Kind of like how they did animated film that came out around the time of the Dark Knights. You know who did that? Was the Matrix. After the Matrix, they did the Animatrix, and it was a whole series of short films. I actually have it sitting right on my shelf. Pennyworth is good stuff. Yeah, I'm hearing good things about it. So yeah, I mean the Animatrix is really cool. If you guys have ever not seen it, check it out. It came out before those next two Matrix movies came out. So, is this still going? I think it froze. Ryan O'Neill's back. Tom Ryan's back. Oh boy, nothing's easy. Thoughts on returning Spectre characters for Bond 25? Welcome back, Ed Swain. Alright, people are coming back. Boy, this is... I gotta figure this out. What are you doing?
Taking pictures.
Of that? I heard they're bringing back Dr. Vogel for 25. Yes, I believe that's true. I can't remember the actress's name. But yeah, she is, and that's an interesting development. Tried to buy that shirt from the Sunspell site. They don't have it on my site. Sorry, brother. I would have got one for you when I was there. She was talking about some sinister stuff, material for Bond 25. Alexa, turn on the air conditioner. Alexa, turn on the air conditioner. Want an ice pop? Tom Ryan, I'm going to Secret Cinema next week. Any tips? Oh my God, Secret Cinema. Honey, we're talking about Secret Cinema.
Have fun. Pay attention.
Go see Mary's interview on James Bond Radio.
No.
I had never been interviewed by James Bond Radio. I'm sitting there like, ooh, I finally made it. I'm on James Bond Radio. Who goes on right after me? Mary. Oh my goodness. Secret Cinema is awesome, dude. Just run with it and have fun, because that was awesome. Secret Cinema, we had a lot of fun doing that. Honestly, you won't have a bad time. Get there early. Get there really early. Because you're going to want to spend as much time as you can doing all the fun stuff before the movie starts. And when the movie starts, when they start to sort of, when you can feel them trying to sort of get you into the room, just go, because there's a lot of really good stuff. Like the movie, the stuff they do during the movie is great. So they do all the missions or just look around. Mixture of both. You know, we kind of got pulled into some of them. Put it this way, I would do this thing at least. I would definitely do this again if I could. It was a lot of fun. If you kind of get pulled into something, run with it. Run with it. I found that like when they sort of pulled, at one point somebody grabbed us and pulled us up, and they sort of just put us into a nice area to watch things going on from above, and it was awesome.
He said, should I do all the missions or just look around?
Yes.
It's kind of hard to do all the missions because they're sort of happening at the same time in
Right.
different locations.
Yes. You literally can't do all the missions.
Yeah.
You'll do wherever you happen to be, if you get pulled into something, run with it, you know, and just follow along. If you see people you recognize, talk to them. That's for me was like the big one, because like again, I don't want to ruin anything for you, but like if you see somebody that goes, ooh, that one looks like so and so, go up, talk, see what happens, whatever. You'll have a blast. It was a really great time. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I would do it multiple times, frankly. How was the Ocean Club? Just went to the Bahamas for my honeymoon. Drove right past the Thunderbolt House. Been there multiple times. You've been inside, right?
Yeah.
Mary and I have been there at least twice, right? You went in one time. One time I just jumped the fence.
Oh no, I didn't go in. I didn't go in there.
Didn't you go inside?
No.
Didn't we went with the Skellmans?
Oh yes, we did. Oh okay, I lied. My memory's not so good.
Yeah, the Thunderbolt House is really cool.
Half.
Going with my better half. Hope you stay most of the mission. Yeah. And even if they don't let you stay together for the missions, it's fine. Well, I guess you want to sit together for the movie part, so maybe you don't want to get pulled apart. Mary and I got separated at one point, but we kind of found each other again.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to find each other again before the movie starts, so, you know, you should be alright. But the Ocean Club is awesome. The Ocean Club is great. I don't know what it's like now, if it's changed at all. John Lennon.
No, I don't think so.
Hey, John Lennon. Sanssouci in Jamaica, yes. Would have loved to have gone back when you went back, but yeah, the visit we had was really cool.
Ryan says, are we going back?
To London, honey. Should we go to London for Bond 25?
Are you gonna take me?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yes, we are definitely going back to London for Bond 25 for sure.
Yes, they did play poker.
That room is we brought cards. We played at the Ocean Club when we went. The Ocean Club is awesome, and again, like I said, I know that they had hurricane damage, but I can't imagine that there was any like significant damage to that area. Because when you walk in to that same place that Bond walks into, that's so cool, because it's exactly like if you walk in, look left, you go where he went. If you go back to the right, there's a reception area. That club room is right in the front, so it's just cool as hell. I mean, it's as close to going to like I mean, we all go to the old Bond sites hoping they're going to look exactly the way we pictured them. This one does. It totally does. Booking my flight now. Hell yeah. When's the live stream of some Baccarat between you and David coming? That's a good question. Baccarat. You know, I never thought about trying to do a thing on Baccarat yet, but that's pretty awesome. That's a good idea. What was that? Yes, I'm the real John Lennon. Hate that live. Hate that live and let die. Because of that damn Paul McCartney. How's Yoko? Check classicfirearms.com for PPKs at a reasonable cost. Interesting. Excited to shoot some guns next week?
Yes, I am.
Next week, 2 days. Got to get up early Saturday.
I'm gonna go down the night before.
And then what? Find a place? It's an idea. It's an idea. We were talking earlier, I said we're going down to Maryland Saturday to go visit the Bond Armory and do some shooting at the gun range. How many times will you see Bond 25 in the theater before the Blu-ray release? So Skyfall and Spectre at least 3 times each. That totally... what's that?
You did too.
Yeah, I think did I see Spectre 3? I know I saw it at least twice.
We saw it first, then you went with, I think your brothers, and then you went with your nephew.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I saw it 3 times, I guess. It really depends on the film, because Casino I saw 3 times. I saw Casino I saw 6 times. 6 times in the theater. Quantum, I saw it 3 times, and even that was sort of under protest. I was genuinely hoping to like it better the next couple times. Didn't really happen. Um, so, I can't remember how many times I saw Skyfall, but Spectre was 3. I usually see him at least 3. Was hoping... Isn't it weird that no matter how good or bad Bond 25 turned out to be, it's going to be a movie that we will watch for the rest of our lives regardless? Very true. Very true. Lloyd says the trailer should be out in October. Wasn't out before Hobbs and Shaw. I would say October is a safe bet. And I've heard people saying already that there's trailers that are already out for movies that are coming out like in mid to late 2020. So what's going on? But has anything been, you know, everything with this film has been late, behind. Can't wait for you guys to review Quantum. I want to hear the criticisms. Yeah, that'll be a good one. When Scott and I do Quantum, it's a weird one because I kind of feel like I hated it at first, and now I'm sort of softened up on it a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Hoping for a trailer attached to The Rise of Skywalker. That could definitely well be. That would be the end of this year, I guess. Bond Armory, any theories on the new story with all the new casting and footage? Not really. Nothing beyond what we've already gotten. I mean, they kind of gave us this whole spiel about an evil scientist and something about technology, and Bond is retired and has to get... Not really, so I don't know. Nothing. Not thrilled. We got 24 people back watching. That's good. We were up. We were up to like 60 something in the last one. But I know.
Oh, that's nice.
But I got all notched. If we get another press conference on the International James Bond, do you think it will be as well produced as the last? Yeah. Lloyd, don't hold your breath for anything too great. If you could choose any actor to play a Bond villain, who would it be and why? Who would you hire to be a villain? I still think Madeline Swan is going to turn out to be a villain. Maybe. Possibly. 007 herself, I feel, will be an anti-hero. Possibly. Do you think Madeline Swan will be like a spy the whole time?
Could be. You never know.
You know what? If Blofeld is as connected as he is and as one step ahead of every single solitary thing that James Bond does, wouldn't surprise me. The next Bond villain should be called Zaritsky. Totally, absolutely. Vanessa My Bride was a fembot all along. You know who that's from? Austin Powers.
I've never seen it.
You never saw Austin Powers?
No.
I think 10 years ago I would have said, oh my god, you're missing something. Maybe now not as much. It's okay though. I can't believe you and Scott are done reviewing the Connery movies. Me too! Oh my god, I said the same thing. I said, I can't believe we're already into... that means we've got 7 movies in the tank already. Every other week, that's 14 weeks ago we started doing this. How did that go so fast? Great to see the Aston from the Living Daylights returning. Yeah, that one, I always like that one. That's a pretty cool car. Paul lives not far from me in Winter Park, Florida. Maybe I could talk him into doing the new track. I see him occasionally. Paul McCartney. I get it. Eva Green comes back. She wasn't actually dead. She shoots the new 007. Yeah, I could totally see that. At this point, why not? Alexa, turn off the air conditioner. Any other opinions on Diamonds Are Forever after your review? That's a great question, Justin, because I feel like every time we do one, I always remember things I wanted to say and never got around to it. Was there something interesting about Diamonds that I was going to throw in? Just that I kind of feel like it's the best bad movie ever. Um, like it's corny and stupid, but again, like any Bond movie, like it's fun just because it's James Bond. So like I think I said at the end of the thing, like I said, if it was in the revival, I would be there with everybody else throwing popcorn at the screen and heckling and making jokes, but whatever. Um, I'd love to see Christopher Walken reprise his role in a Bond film just as a cameo. That'd be cool. He's dead, but again, Grace Jones almost came back. I still have no idea if that was true. Um, if Grace Jones was really supposed to have a cameo, she really walked off. To this day, I still have no idea if that is like a true rumor or whatever. The one movie I'd like to see remade in today's Vegas. I've actually said that honestly. Live and Let Die, Diamonds Are Forever. I mean, honestly, they're so old now that you figure Mystery Science Theater does Diamonds. Is that true? Did they do that? I don't think they did. But it's a good idea. Diamonds is the worst without a doubt. Worried about the fact that Scott doesn't even seem too fond of the Brosnan era. Yeah, he's gonna come out swinging. I know which movie he's gonna swing out the hardest. Bond Armor, yeah. What do I think of the Grace Jones quitting? Like I said, I don't know. I don't know. Is that real? I still don't know like what the deal with that was. Bets on how many minutes of screen time for Blofeld. All of it from prison. I don't know. I'm curious to know if he's got a bigger role in the movie than... Because, I mean, I guess the rumor is that people saw him just walking in one day. So, so I guess the idea is that he just showed up for one day of filming and that's it. But that could just be the beginning, frankly. I don't even think What's-His-Face has even started filming yet. What's his name? The guy from the Queen movie.
Oh, Malik?
Yeah, Rami Malek. I don't even think he's even started filming yet. So, what's his name could just be getting started. He could have a pretty sizable role, really. Ed Sheeran doing the title song. Do you know who Ed Sheeran is?
Yeah, he's the red-headed guy. Looks like the guy from Harry Potter on music.
You know his music?
Yeah, it's kind of poppy.
I really don't know anything he does.
Lots of love songs.
I'm old. I bet Vogel gives him an injection that slows his heart rate, and Spectre bails him out of jail. I could see that. Yo Jimbo! I actually do like the Brosnan era overall. Two really great movies, in my humble opinion. Guys, welcome Scott. Yo Jimbo 6 is Scott from the Bond Reviews. So yeah, but people were asking Scott, is he gonna shred the Bros? I said I know he's gonna shred one at least, but Ellen, he's gonna redeem his Blofeld performance. He wants to come back to redeem his. I hope so. Again, the theory is that that. The theory, I kind of agree with this, that everybody sort of knows Spectre sucked, so they're working hard to sort of make Spectre seem better by this film. It's possible. It is very possible.
He's got Galician Pierce.
Galician Pierce. Pierce is his fellow Irishman, so Tom is defensive of Pierce Brosnan. Bond Army reviews without remorse. Ghostbusters. Just saying. The original Ghostbusters or that awful remake?
The original.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Then remember that stupid remake with the
Did
women?
you see it?
I saw it eventually, yeah. I think I saw it on an airplane, I
I
think.
don't think I ever saw it.
You're not missing anything, believe me.
Devoted blonde Brosnan guy.
Brosnan is kind of a tragedy. He a great Bond who never got a great Bond movie. He got a lot of okay movies. Does Madeline make it to the end of the movie? I don't think so. I'd be very surprised if Madeline makes it to the end. Dalton is a tragedy. I agree with that, Nathan. He should have had. He Living Daylights is one of my favorites. Love it. Uh, and the next one, they went for something else. Didn't like it as much. But yeah, he should have done more for sure. Ever traveled to Bond Stars events at Pinewood? Any tips? I have not. I have not been, but I'm sure this year we probably will. Hopefully, we'll do the Pinewood event before Bond 25 this year. Agree on Brosnan. The world has done enough. What's his best? He definitely hit his stride. I think for sure. I've always felt that was probably the best one. Again, it's not great, but it was pretty damn good. On 26, stay dark, go campy, or try to find a cohesive mix. Honestly, I don't think they'll go campy, because campy is kind of specific. I will take a bet that they'll go lighter. I think they'll probably say enough of the brooding, my parents didn't love me crap, and just go a little bit lighter. License to Kill jumped the shark. Poor writing, bad financials. Yes, it had a made-for-TV movie look to it. It just looked cheap. So.
What's the most complex drink featured in a Bond movie?
Complex drink featured in a Bond movie. I will go with the Sazerac as the most complex. Do you remember having a Sazerac in New Orleans? Did you like it?
Yes, I did.
It's good, right?
Yeah. Knocked me on my behind.
We were pretty happy that day. Woo! Starting to think Craig is the real tragedy. Every other film is good. Yeah, could very well be. Bond 26 should be a throwback to the original times from the novels. Very, you know what? I can see it. I can definitely see it. I think there's a good argument to be made for period films. Even though in some way, if they do that, it's you're kind of putting the nail in the coffin of the modern Bond franchise. I would love to see them doing. Kyle, I don't remember having Sazeracs in New Orleans. I always sort of wanted them to do sort of like as a side thing, like where, just like kind of just in addition to, it's kind of funny because they keep talking about like offshoot Bond franchises, like could they do like a Felix Leiter off? I don't see that, but they but what I wouldn't mind seeing them doing is going back and doing the films, doing the books as sort of like a side thing where it's just like almost like on Netflix they would do it, and doing kind of lower scales. A Beautiful Kill is the best Bond film. There you go. I agree with that. Like if Netflix or something went back and did just the original books and did them in the original time period, I think that'd be pretty damn cool. We had Sazeracs at the Sazerac bar. We sure did. In New Orleans. I got video of Alan and Mary together. John Simmons, what's going on? How's your Bond body coming along? Well, we can talk about that another day. It's a little slowly, but it's getting back to it. A Beautiful Kill is what got me into Bond. So you're a child of the 80s as well. Sort of like the Jack Ryan series on Amazon. I haven't seen it, but I'm hearing good things. Yeah, that's honestly what I think. I think doing it as like a series on Amazon or Netflix or whatever. Mary is gorgeous. Got that right. Worth the watch. Yeah, I'm going to check out that Jack Ryan. I really should. You're stuck on a desert island with your solar-powered DVD player. You can only bring 2 Bond movies with you. What do you choose? That's easy for me.
On Majesty, Secret Service, and Casino.
Jeez. Wow, somebody knows me a little too well.
Yeah.
License to Kill is awesome. License to Kill is awesome. Proudly posted without sarcasm. I love it. How big of a role will Felix Leiter have in Bond 25? Pretty big, I hope. I hope.
Calvin.
What's that?
Do you know Calvin Dyson?
Do I know Calvin Dyson? I do, yes. I finally met Calvin in London just 2 months ago. Very super. He's great because he's exactly like the way you see him on his YouTube. He's just like that in person, and it was awesome to finally meet him. I totally fangirled over him because I've been watching him since like 10 years probably. Should Terry Mountain do one more film? Yeah, absolutely. We should definitely get him in for a film somehow. I would love that. Jimmy Bond makes a comeback, like Card Sense Jimmy Bond. I agree with that. What would your 2 favorite Bond movies be for the Desert Island?
Definitely Casino. Well, it would be two Daniel movies, so Skyfall and Casino. So maybe.
Okay. Alright. I got the Bond fitness down to the Battle of the Belly.
It's everybody's problem.
That's everybody's problem. Tomorrow Never Dies would be the only movie I would need on the desert island. Well, you and Scott are going to have to talk. Because, what are Chris and Tommy trivia like? I'm not sure. I don't know who Tommy Trivia is. BBC did the fictionalized story of Ian Fleming. It was interesting to see what Bond could be during World War II. I like that. Break out the Fitbit and add me. I think we're friends on the Fitbit now, aren't we? Bond Armory? I think so.
Got mine on. You got yours on? Oh, you're not wearing yours.
I had it. I was charging it actually. Have you put your videos of Honor Majesty's 50 up yet? No, I have not. And that's... I have been literally... Mary will tell you, I have been doing back-to-back just video editing like crazy. And it's so hard to get...
It's charging.
It is charging, I swear to God. It's even... See?
I see it.
I haven't gotten to my Honor Majesty's 50th yet, and I'm dying to get it finished. I kind of wanted to do that as sort of a 3-parter. I would love to get the first one out pretty quickly. I'm hoping to get that done soon. What do you think of the current MI6 regulars? Should they return after Craig leaves? See, now that's interesting. So basically, when Craig is gone... Should they reboot the whole thing or just slip in another actor like they used to? I am definitely leaning towards just put a different Bond in. I know it's a little, yes, plug Patreon. Oh, by the way, I have a Patreon page. You guys should go look at it. And maybe I could be a full-time YouTuber instead of everything
I like
else.
Alan's comment. The Bond skill I would most like is to have would be the ability to eat all the food and not put on weight.
Exactly.
Wouldn't we all?
Wouldn't we all?
Can you do a chapter on that?
When I learn that skill, I will do a chapter on it. Explain more about your Patreon page. Yeah, I have been on Patreon for a long time. Do you know what Patreon is?
No, I don't.
It's basically a way that if people want to, they can sort of just be a contributor, $1 or $2 a month, whatever, to your page, and you sort of. And honestly, I signed up for it a long time ago. It's there. I've never plugged it, so nobody even knows that I even have it. That that I'm on it. I probably should at some point. I finally hit 1,000 subscribers, by the way. So.
Book update.
Book update. I was kind of ignoring that. But,
Yeah. I keep pushing him. I promise you I do.
She does. And you've edited she's corrected the chapters that I've printed out and given her.
Far, yeah.
So I gotta give her more, gotta finish more. I heard you were a cook at your church when did I say that?
How did he find that out?
That's so funny. I must have said it in the podcast, I guess, this week.
That's why you were busy.
I mean, well, that's true. Mary and I were standing over the hot fryer the deep fryer every night this week at church, at the church carnival. We made mozzarella sticks. We made chicken fingers,
French fries.
French fries.
Oh, it was horrible.
I still feel like I kind of like my skin is like from standing over the grease. I still feel gross. Congrats on 1,000 subscribers. Thank you, Scott. My good buddy Scott.
I never met Scott.
Well, when we go down to Georgia, you should meet him.
Sure.
Mary's brother lives in Georgia. My friend Scott lives in Georgia. I saw Scott last year, a little over a year ago, when we went to SpyCon. It was all 5 of us there. Me and Scott. You need to start plugging your Patreon. I really do. I should honestly do just a flat out.
Don't you do it at the end of Reviews Without Remorse?
I
thought you did.
I think I put like a graphic at the end of some of the videos, but I don't think I really said much about it. I should probably do something, especially now that I got 1,000 subscribers. You know, technically I can make YouTube money now. I can monetize videos. In fact, actually this one, I think might have been the first one. You know, I think it started out with an ad before, which I was like kind of shocked. I was like, wow, I have an ad before my videos.
When you started being James Bond, did you ever think it was going to take you to all the places and people you have met today? That's a good one.
It really is. And the answer is no, but I kind of always hoped. Honestly, I feel like the only reason I even started being James Bond, in some ways, was to kind of get more ingrained in the community and start to become part of the bigger conversation. So I'm pretty thrilled that I all the full-time YouTubers do it at the end of every video, right? They talk about Patreon and all that good stuff. So I absolutely will. Southern Georgia was way too hot for humans today. At least we are getting evening storms today. Are you in Southern Georgia, Nathan? Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty hot. The World Is Not Enough review is coming. Perhaps one of the most underrated. Little spoiler as to what Scott thinks about The World Is Not Enough. I guess he likes that one. What advice do you have for someone who would like to start going to Bond events with other fans? Nothing happens in my area. Nathan, well, for one thing, if you are in Georgia, I know that, in fact, probably right around now, in August, I think there's an event down there. I think there is not a Comic-Con, but they do Dragon Con, I think it is, down in Georgia. Check it out this month, actually. It might be happening right now. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know what your situation is, but
Get him in touch with
get in touch with the Skillmans, get in touch with Martin Mulder, get in touch with Matt Sherman. Matt Sherman does Dragon Con. Yeah, he knows. Matt Sherman is a good one. I know he just did something in Las Vegas recently. There's a cruise going on next year that he is heading up.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's a great question because, I mean, the Bond gatherings are great. They're a lot of fun. Even Mary, I mean, I know I've dragged her to so much stuff, but, I mean, not one of them has been bad, right?
No, it's not dragging. It's a great time. I meet great people. My daughter liked it. She loved all of it. Amanda had a great time.
And she's 21 now. She'll be 22 very soon. We've dragged her to stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, seriously, you think like bringing a teenager to stuff would be a drag for her? She loves it. Absolutely loves it. I recently went through your old podcast from 2006 onwards. It's an amazing document. Thank you, sir. Loved your holiday photos from Portugal. Thank you.
I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, seriously. Mary and I keep saying we're going to sit down and I'll just show her all the pictures, but honestly, I really have not had a chance to yet. Matt is not going this year. Matt is not going this year? He's not going on the cruise? Oh, not going to Dragon Con. The Plaza Theater in Atlanta just showed all the Bond films. I saw The Spy Who Loved Me. Had a great time. There you go. Keeping the calendar clear for October 5th. Yes. International James Bond Day. Very cool. Kyle, Nothing better than getting together with fellow Bond fans. Got that right.
Mm-hmm.
It really is true. The world is not enough. 7 out of 10. You know what? I would actually concur with that, I think. I think that's a good, solid 7. I would agree with that. Competes with GoldenEye as the best Pierce. I would agree with that. Very underrated. Yeah, it's a solid film. It kind of, again, it falls apart in some places, but I'm in Nashville. Oh boy.
I love Nashville.
Mary is a very big Elvis fan.
Huge.
Mary,
We gotta go to Nashville.
This past year, Mary went to Nashville and Memphis. She loved it. The World Is Enough has the best pre-title sequence of all time. It's the most ambitious for damn sure. I mean, that pre-title is like 15 minutes long. It's crazy. Do you think Orson Welles would have directed a great Bond film? You know, that is a Calvin Dyson question. I'm gonna say maybe. I don't know. Scott might have an opinion on that. Orson Welles is a great director, but I don't know if Bond would be his forte. If they omitted the character of Christmas Jones, it would have been a 10 out of 10. If they recast Christmas Jones, you know who should have played Christmas Jones in The World Is Not Enough was the girl who played Trinity from The Matrix. She's, you know, still attractive, but she's a little smarter, I think. Orson Welles, the OG Lashif, I love that. Could Elvis have done a Bond theme? What do you think?
Oh. Yes, I think he could have.
The world is not enough.
You're such a goober.
You ain't nothing but a gold figure. Wow. All right, I'm gonna stop there.
Thank you.
An Orson Welles directed Bond film would have been fascinating. Definitely fascinating. Sting, you know, I heard, you know, did you hear that Sting was?
No, I don't hear anything.
I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's just a rumor or just sort of part of the conversation that comes up once in a while. But Sting came up, and I was like, that I could see that. I could definitely see that. The World Is Not Enough is a film that suffers somewhat from its excellent pre-title sequence. The rest of the film can't measure up. That is an interesting. You know what? I agree with that actually. The beginning is so ambitious that the rest of the film just sort of feels like it's just chugging along. Interesting. Sting over Ed Sheeran. I would agree with that. Elvis is not dead. He just went home. Honey, do you agree with that?
Elvis is not dead. Please.
There you go. Alice Cooper's The Man with the Golden Gun is better than Lulu's. Yeah, that's a weird one. That's a theme song I've kind of had mixed feelings on at best. Orson Welles drunk during the filming of a Paul Masson champagne commercial is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Totally great. Did you ever see that? That is awesome. My brother works for an editing. In fact, he edits news footage now. He's always done video editing. Before the internet, my brother would come home with VHS tapes of stuff that had gotten passed around and copied. So he used to bring home these gems, these things that today would just be passed around YouTube. And that was one of the ones. So I saw that a long time ago. It was great. Sting and Bowie were said to have been considered for the role of Zorin. I can see that. I think Walken is the better one. Mwah, the French. Orson Welles did Le Chiffre drunk as well in Casino 67. Rachel Weisz would have been a more believable Christmas Jones. I'd buy that, actually. She played a more realistic role in The Bourne Legacy. Bourne Legacy, terrible movie. Terrible. The first 3 Bournes were spectacular. You should have left it at that. French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. Good morning from Nottingham, Russ Corbett. How are you? What time is it there? I would look at my phone, but I'm using it for my video. Let's see. Do you think after Bond 25 that Bond would be better served in TV format? Now that's interesting. Mike Schmitz. Do you think after Bond 25 that Bond would be better served in TV format in miniseries or episodic and taking the books nearly verbatim? Doing the books as period films, yes. I would definitely be down with that. What level of, like, how much tinkering with the books? Like, nearly verbatim? And I'm telling you, I've had the same thought myself. I've even said, I think I've even used the word verbatim before. Like, they should just do it exactly how it's supposed to be. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Especially, I think once I read all of the books instead of just like the heavy hitters, and I realized like some of them are a little weak. I'm not sure. Maybe, but they could do it with a little tinkering. The recent re-release of the World Isn't Enough soundtrack was so good. I think Scott got me a copy of that with all the added stuff. Pretty cool. Matthew, good evening from Minnesota. What's up, buddy? What do you think about California Girls being sung in the pre-title sequence of A View to a Kill? I can't wait to talk about that film with Scott, because you know when I see that California Girls, honestly, I feel like if my nephew and I, for example, sat down and watched all the Bond movies, he would probably watch that, and he would have no idea why that song is there. And when I think about what I would have to go through to explain to him why it's there, I'd have to say, like, well, let's see. First of all, there was no such thing as snowboarding back then. It was pretty much just skiing. So the idea of Bond on a snowboard was still pretty new and inventive. So for most people, it just sort of looks like you're surfing on snow. And surfing, there was a band called the Beach Boys, and they were kind of famous for being into like the surfing culture. Even though this song particularly has nothing to do with surfing, and they had a song called Surfing USA, which would have been better, you would think. But there was also a guy named David Lee Roth who did a remake of a song called California Girls, which was popular in the 80s. So, et cetera, et cetera. So there's like no reason for that song to be there whatsoever. It's raining hard and my roof is leaking. And then I remembered you were streaming, so everything happens for a reason. Ross Corbett. I had technical difficulties myself, so I feel for you. Would love to see a spin-off series with Felix Leiter. I'd love to see just them making consistent Bond movies, and then once we get that, then we can talk about the spin-offs. But that is a in the era of, I mean, seriously, Pennyworth is getting a spin-off. They're doing a spin-off of the early Kingsman. I could see a spin-off of Felix Leiter if they just, figured out how to do it. Bond 25 gun barrel. I'd be surprised if the Bond 25 gun barrel is not in the beginning. I think after Spectre they finally just gave up on messing around with the gun barrel. Maybe this time they'll actually do a good one. A good gun barrel. Ooh, great question. What would be the right homage for Roger Moore in Bond 25? You know what? Honestly, I wouldn't even mind if they just flat out, I think in the beginning of the film, they should just like do it just a full-blown dedication. Which I've never seen them do before, but I think that would be a good reason to do one. You agree? So, yeah, they should really just do a dedication. I mean, they did it for, I mean, was there any better dedication than the one Marvel did for Stan Lee? When they did the entire Marvel logo with Stan Lee in it? At the very least, they should do something for Roger in the beginning, I think. The Joker is getting one now as well. I mean, I'm kind of curious about that Joker movie. I feel like that could go either way. How many gun-wielding allies in the field will Bond have for Bond 25? Now that's an interesting one. Gun-wielding allies as opposed to the regular kind. Interesting. Didn't they dedicate Tomorrow Never Dies to Cubby? They did. I think they did it in the end credits, if I remember right. It was definitely not before the gun barrel. Alan, will be interesting to see who is in the gun barrel. Alan, don't let your heart be troubled. Believe me, it's gonna be James Bond. they're not gonna do anything.
He's not wearing bell bottoms like.
Mary and I were watching. Was it Live and Let Die the other day? And she was like, "Nice bell bottoms that Roger Moore has in the gun barrel." Update before your chat expires. Is that a thing? Do I have to do something to it?
I seem to have problems every time I walk away.
That's why you have to be here all the time, huh?
I had to take a pill just to get over here.
Did you read the leaked script of Spectre? I did. And it's interesting. And oddly, it's better than what we got, I think. Not by a lot. Desmond Llewellyn's dedication always brings tears. Did they do a full-blown dedication for him? What did they do for him? Scott brings up an interesting point. It just dawned on me. Since Bond is retired at the start of Bond 25, it would give them a perfect excuse not to use the gun barrel. Yeah. I mean, and again, they're just dying to do anything except doing just the traditional Bond film, which I don't get. You guys should go back and watch my wish list for Bond 25. I said in that, I mean, there was, they purposely went back. You know, the Skyfall ends with in a shot of the traditional M's office, and everybody goes crazy. That means we want it, so just do it. Like, it worked. you got it had the effect you wanted it to have. Maybe what I think. I have popcorn, ice pops. You can go for it. I'll quote Alan Partridge. Stop getting Bond wrong. Who is Alan Partridge? I think we might get a gun barrel similar to Casino Royale. Now that's interesting. Barbara wants to be different than her father in the way she makes Bond films. And playing with the gun barrel is the best example. That is true. It does seem like they kind of have this aversion to just straight out doing a classic James Bond. Like, they have to reinvent the wheel somehow. Will there be a briefing scene in M's office? Well, we saw when Prince Charles was there, they did something in M's office, so there's going to be something. You can dislike Diamonds Are Forever, but the gun barrel is seriously the best. Those Vegas lights going over the barrel is perfect. The Vegas lights, I don't remember it like that. But there's something there. Way better than the bullet coming at you and Die Another Day. That I agree with. Getting the gun barrel wrong really bothers me. I know it seems like a small thing, but it's one of the coolest things ever. I agree. It works. Don't fix things that aren't broken. You need to watch the Alan Partridge scene. It's so funny. I have to Google that. I'm not sure what that is. Brosnan's gun barrel animation was the best. Yes, I agree. When they did that, when they first did that in GoldenEye, that was a positive step forward. I agree with that. Totally agree with that. The GoldenEye one was fantastic, and it's funny too because I hate the music in GoldenEye. The only thing I actually like is the music for the gun barrel. That works great for me. And the way they animated it, or the way it was CGI and fluid, oh my god, it was great. Sounds like it's introducing the female 007. Just sent you a link on Facebook about the Alan Partridge video. Thank you, Tom. Check it out after the stream, I will. Alan Partridge is a genius. Alright, I'm going to check it out. Let's see. Not putting the Bond theme during the film is another example of doing something different than Cubby. Yes, I agree. Matthew from A Winking Fish. Yeah, don't you remember the end of License to Kill? Which film has your favorite title sequence? It's gonna sound sacrilegious, but I would say Casino Royale. Casino Royale had a great title sequence. It was different but same from the others. Skyfalls, I didn't like it at first, but it's grown on me since. Mary's looking at me like I'm crazy. Because I didn't like it at first? I thought it was too busy when I first saw it. But now that I've seen it a couple times, I like it because it's so busy. And when you watch, you can watch it multiple times, and it still seems pretty fresh. What else? I mean, the classic. I kind of love all of them. View to a Kill comes to mind because I love all the neon because it was the 80s. From Russia with Love is a classic, an absolute classic. Skyfall has some classic shots. I agree. Ollie, checking out. I think I'm checking out too because it's 10 o'clock. I said it was gonna be 2 hours, and even though I got a late start. Should I wind this down? I feel like all the frustrations to get this thing rolling, and now we're finally rolling. It's already 10 o'clock. A View to a Kill title sequence and License to Kill were the best of the 80s. Yeah, License to Kill was a good one. I agree with that. Kind of like Dr. No, it's so unique now, yes. And it set the stage for the rest of them. Oh, yeah. Should we wind this thing down?
Yes.
It's 10 o'clock. Only 9 in Nashville. Jealous? Oh, are you jealous, Mary, of the guy in Nashville?
Yes, I am
Nathan?
jealous of the guy in Nashville. He's going to be my new best friend.
Nathan, we might have to come visit you when we go to Nashville someday. Careful what you do. Careful what you say. Hey, all right, I think we're gonna wind it down. Sorry this was such a cluster F. Is that a word? You want to say goodbye? Hey, this is anytime. We're going to have to go down to Nashville.
Anytime, you just opened the door for a lot of visits.
Will Bond marry Madeline at the beginning of Bond 25? I don't, marry? Not necessarily, but I could see them just being in the happily ever after mode.
Oh, Bond shouldn't get married. You know what happens to his wife.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Have you finished Forever in a Day? I have not. I keep picking it up, putting it down, and then before you know it, I'm distracted with a gazillion other things, but I definitely need to do that. Rumor of a 4th Aston on set. Well, can Bond be driving all these cars? Well, I know there's 3. Tom Ryan, great chatting with you and Mary. Looking forward to the next one. Yeah, we'll definitely. I will work out the bugs by then for sure. For damn sure. Good night, Joseph. Good night, Mary. Good night, Wilfred.
Good night, Wilfred.
Great to see you. And thanks, guys. Thanks for putting up with all the craziness. Keep living like Bond. See you Saturday. Oh, Kyle, I'll see you Saturday. Yep. Kyle will be there on Saturday.
Oh. See you guys Saturday. Pick it up, bro.
Picking up, bro. See you, Marco. Nathan, good night. See you soon. Good night, Mary and Joe. All right, guys. Good night, Alan.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Brian. Thank you. Good live streams. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Scott, you're around someplace. Good night, Scott. I'll talk to you soon. 3 oh my God, right? 3 a.m. Dude, go to bed.
Have a pint and go to bed.
This is a lot better things you'd be doing than watching us. John Lennon, you're in Ireland too? Jeez, who's not in Ireland?
You and me.
I said earlier, I said that I actually, before you even got here, I was talking about that. I said that we were talking about a trip to Ireland, and it kind of got derailed, but we are definitely, it's on the bucket list. That's for sure. Thank you, William.
These people are all so nice.
They are so nice. Got a good crew. The Bond community is a good community, for damn sure.
It really is.
Alrighty, guys.
Good night.
See you next time.